Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the channel again. And it's been a long time since I updated anything or uploaded anything, and a lot has happened since then. I mean, not a lot academically, but certainly a lot has happened in my life, and I wanted to update it a little bit and felt a serious need of updating things. So let's begin from the ending of October. So towards the ending of October, there was a seminar that was organized by the Department of English, Aligarh Muslim University, which is my university, and there they called up this guest speaker from Chicago, Bayan Islamic Graduate School, who goes by the name of David R. Coolidge. So when Coolidge arrived in the university, before his arrival here in the university, I was given the charge of conducting the entire program, of hosting the entire thing. So I was I don't know if the voice was clear. I'm not using the mic today. So I was given this charge of hosting that program, and I was researching a little bit on his background, and then I came to know that he converted to Islam in 2000, and then later on he became a Shia in 2016, which really made me excited to talk to him because you don't meet people like that on an everyday basis. So anyway, so I was very excited to meet him, and then the next day the lecture happens, and I go and conduct that entire program, and I write an introduction which he likes a lot, and he gets very emotional about it. And then after the lecture, we of course hang out together for an entire day, where we first went to the guest house, he had his lunch, then we went to the mosque where we prayed together. Then we went for there was another lecture that he had to give at Shamshad, in the student center of SIU, Jamaat Islami. So there we were together again. Then we went to pray again together in the nearby mosque with the students who were attending the lecture. Then we came back, and SIU hosted a breakfast for us, so we had the breakfast, and then we went back to the guest house, where again I had some time to talk to him, and I told him about my Oxford application, my separate other things, and he was very motivate, very compassionate and very motivating in his gesture towards me, and he really gave my heart a lot of solace, a lot of peace, which had been troubling me for a long time, but I didn't tell it to anyone, and I have this habit of keeping things within me. Anyway, so we had a talk there, and then he had a dinner plan, to which he invited me as well. So I went with him for the dinner as well, and then after the dinner I dropped him back at the guest house at 11:30, and then we promised to meet again tomorrow, the next day post Fajr. So again I just came back, I just typed in the report of the new event, and I just laid down in my bed and off to sleep. I had a good schedule back then, because I used to sleep at 10, 11, 12 something, and then wake up at 5:30, 4:30 somewhere, and then that was really nice schedule which I was having at that time. Anyway, so the coolish thing happens, and then of course there was you know something else also happened that day, which I'll probably deliver it, talk about it separately in some other place. Coolidge, we had a talk again post Fajr, and um, I felt like it was not the first time that we were meeting. Although, yes, it was the first time that we were meeting, but there are some people who are very close to you in your temperament, nature, and of course, if you share the same beliefs, that is just going to resonate very well with each of you. So we felt like we were friends forever from the first time that we met, and we have been friends so far, and very good friends. He has talked about me to his friends when he went back to USA. He connected me with a lot of his friends, and they talk of connecting me with people who are there up, high in higher institutions and all, which is absolutely incredible, unbelievable for a person like me who has no such merit to his account. He has nothing to show, nothing to showcase, nothing to portray. It's all Allah's blessings that I have been receiving so far, and that really does make me very emotional about these things. But there was something else with that person. I felt like he knew my heart, I knew his heart, he knew my soul, I knew his soul. We both were on the same page. He is telling me that he wants to come to Lucknow, settle in Lucknow for another 3 years, and want his children to grow up in the Lucknowi atmosphere of Tehzeeb, which is absolutely brilliant. Not because he's coming closer to me or closer to my space, or because he's endorsing my region, or because he's endorsing my religion. It's about what he is ready to give up for what he thinks that is valuable. So many people in my own region don't recognize the value of the atmosphere, the spiritual atmosphere that they have. My neighborhood has people who don't smoke, who don't eat tobacco, or who don't do any kind of vices are still looked down upon in my neighborhood, which is such an asset in this era, which is such an asset. You just have to leave your child in my neighborhood, and that child will grow up as a well behaved, decent child, decent adult. This is a blessing, and we don't realize it, we don't recognize it. We run towards other things, the worldly things. Lately I have been influenced with things which I do not believe are part of my nature. um, I don't know how to put it, I don't know how to spell it out, but it's something like I'm not being myself, or rather being honest to myself. It's about mm, it's about performing in front of your own self, which is the highest level of hypocrisy that you can achieve. You know something is wrong, you do it, you regret it, and you keep doing it. So this is something that is absurd, that one must never do, but one sometimes keeps doing, and then that becomes the nature of doing things. And this begets lies, this leads to fraudulency, this leads to, you know, deceitful performances, and ultimately restlessness. There's always a restlessness that will rest within you. The sooner that a person resolves these contradictions, the better it is. The more you deal in contradictions, the farther you go from your own, stable nature. That's like you have an orbit in which you have to revolve, but you're gravitating towards other heavenly bodies, and you can only gravitate to a certain extent. After a certain time, you will leave the orbit, you will leave that gravitational zone, and you will go to some other gravitational zone. and there's no chance of coming back again until unless you force yourself back into that zone. So yeah, it's complicated, but um, so I do feel that 1.5 month has created a lot of turmoil, a lot of contradictions, a lot of complications in the life, which I look forward to resolve. Um, but yeah, that person who met Coolidge, and his book, and the note that he wrote in the book. Sometimes these are all we don't recognize. These simple things sometimes become guiding symbols, directing symbols, and directive principles. So yeah, I'll try to go back to it. Maybe try to go back to the person, try to talk to him regarding all this, and maybe some way will come out of it. I don't know, but that's it probably for today. Thanks a lot.